Hi, and welcome to Your Success Coach. And I'm joined today by wealth coach, Juanita Duke. Hi, Juanita. Great to have you on.
Hi, Karen. Great to be on here with you tonight.
Now, Juanita covers a lot of different types of programs on wealth coaching. And what are some of the areas that we cover, Juanita? I'm thinking like we do business.
Yeah, we look at investing in business, property, paper or shares, and cash, which is things like bullion, peer-to-peer lending.
Is it difficult for people to do those sorts of things?
No, all the strategies are very simple, just easy strategies to help you get started. And then if you want to move on to kind of more difficult strategies after you've learned the basics, then you can do. But very much you're starting with very simple, low risk strategies.
Now, we talked about the four different categories, business, property.
Mhm.
We also run four levels, don't we? With the starting with the foundation where it's very simple investments for people. Then we move it up a level.
Yeah, well, it's very important to have a very strong, solid foundation to your investment portfolio because it could be very, very easy for it to get a bit lopsided and too much of the bias on one element than the other. And really, you want to diversify your portfolio so you've got all your investments spread as much as possible throughout those four categories. Just makes you a
Yeah,
lot safer.
yeah. And that's one of the things we sort of see so many people get into financial difficulty and then find out they're only in one category. They're not actually diversified. They think they're diversified,
Yeah.
but it turns out they're all in shares or they're all in property or something.
Yeah, and
So
that's the problem. If property, for example, drops down, you haven't got something else that's going up at the same time as property's coming down, so you've got that balance. So it's really important.
yeah, and why we sort of designed it is well, one of the things I learned when I started investing was that you start with very simple investments that are fairly safe.
Yeah.
You don't do anything spectacular,
No.
but you're learning.
Yeah, absolutely. It is actually all about the learning in the beginning. It's not that you're going to see these huge returns or get rich quick. It is all about putting the investment into yourself and into your education first. And then when you feel comfortable, then you get actually started with the simple investment strategies.
And then we move them up a level so they start learning a little bit more technical stuff and starting to generate a bit more income.
Yeah, once you've got that foundation, then you can start to look at growth and how you can grow those categories that you've started with smaller investments in.
So, I mean, you started off as a client. So
Yeah.
you've seen it from both sides. You've been both a client and now a coach.
Yeah.
So what was your experience as a client?
Um, there's just so much to learn. So it was like, I mean, I love learning new subjects. I just like all the knowledge, and I just thought I got to the age that I was without giving too much away, without having any real proper financial education. It's because it's not something you get at school. And the money stories that we tell ourselves and that we know, they're what we inherit from our parents, and our parents inherited them from their parents. But really, there's a lot that you don't know about until you don't know it until you kind of start studying it. So I loved how easy it was all set out, into individual modules. So you got to learn a little bit about the business side, then a little bit about the shares, a little bit about gold and silver and bullion, and then you just it's paced very nicely, and it gives you time in between the modules to implement what you've learned in the first module, so that by the time you come to the second module, you're ready to implement something else. So I love the way it's kind of laid out for us.
That's great. What about we talk quite a lot, and I know about mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, mindset is like 80% of what we're doing, and the actual skill of investing is very, very small. So what sort of things would you think about when you're doing mindset?
Well, you have to be aware that everybody's coming from a different place. Everybody's got different money stories and different personalities. Some people grew up thinking that money was evil and it was it's greedy to think about money and it's selfish and you shouldn't be thinking about yourself. And other people are much more open to wealth and can see it as something that the more wealthy they are, then the more good they're able to do to the family, to their communities, to the people around them. So you've kind of first starting with where people are at, and then helping them to understand where those stories that they've got, where they come from originally, and do those stories actually serve them, or are they stories that need to be rewritten, basically? And then we could start to look at what habits they have around their spending of money, their saving of money, or not saving it, maybe habits that have got them into debt. What habits have they got that are poor habits and that need to be replaced? And there's just lots. The mindset piece definitely is the bigger part of the learning.
Yeah, because it's one of the things that I found was, I mean, I invest, and I used to lose money, and then someone said to me, "Could have changed the way you think about it,"
Yes. Yeah.
and that became the trigger to actually go out and make money.
Yes.
And one of the other things was having a plan to do it, because
Yes.
money is a taboo subject, and very few people will ever think, right, I'm going to create this plan to actually get wealthy.
Yeah, well, I think people don't know where. How would you even begin to do that? Is because people haven't learned it at school or from their parents or whatever, they just wouldn't even know where to start, or they perceive it's something that's absolutely impossible. So they don't even think that it would be possible for them to make a plan in the first place. But you're right, having a plan is the starting point.
Yeah, and because I found, like I said, I dabbled in things and I was learning different things. But once I had learned a lot more stuff, I
Mm-hmm.
was able to put a plan together,
Yes.
and it just accelerated after that because I'd taken the time to learn something,
Yeah.
and I'd taken the time to plan how I was actually going to get there.
Well, I think that's one of the benefits of being a client, that when you come onto the programs, the plan is there for you. We help you with, setting up your wealth targets, your income targets, and help you structure a plan that's going to suit you, because everybody will have um, different wants to come out of their wealth goal, or one will want to concentrate on one element more than another within, while still keeping a safe balance. But yeah, it's great that the support is there to actually help you work on the plan from where you are now to where you want to be and what steps you need to take to get you there.
So, what advice do you want to give to any of our clients?
Learn, read every day, learn every day. No, there's lots of places you can learn. Obviously, I'm going to recommend the Zero to Millionaire program because I think it's absolutely brilliant. But the first thing is you've got to focus on the learning. And once you've learned, then you're able to decide, what it is you need to take action on to make a difference to not just your own life, but the life of people that are in your circle, your family, your community, your friends. So.
And that's one of the things, because I know, like, when I grew up, and I think it happens in a lot of generations, not just in my generation when I was growing up, money is such a taboo subject.
Yeah, it just wasn't talked about, other than we can't afford that or
Mm.
something. But you didn't really hear the how can we afford that? It was always the, oh, we can't afford that kind of story. But yeah, it wasn't polite to talk about money. Certainly, if my parents did it, they did it behind closed doors. It wasn't something that was ever talked in front of the children. So.
And it's one thing that I learned was that when you have wealthy families, they're open, they talk about any
Yeah,
of it around the table. It's just,
it's
hey,
just a,
this is what we do, and we do it.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Just depends on, as I say, your parents and their they got theirs from their their kind of their views on money from their parents.
Yeah. And it shows the way things change, doesn't it? How we can actually um, change whatever we want.
Yeah.
You mentioned habits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, again, that is something that not just in the money world, but I think that anything that you want to achieve in life, if you haven't achieved it yet, it's usually because you've got some habit that's holding you back. So you really need to change that habit.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it can be simple habits like just getting in the habit of budgeting what you're going to spend each month instead of just, right, okay, well, we need some food, buy food, we need some petrol, buy petrol. Actually sitting, having the habit at the beginning of the month and allocating a certain portion of your income to fund things. It's not all just about the bills, but allocating some to the bills, some to funds, some to saving, maybe some to investing, some to an emergency fund. So just getting in the habit of doing something like as simple as that is the start of having good habits around money.
Mm. Well, we are running out of time here. So, Juanita, I want to thank you for joining us. And I know we're going to do a few more videos to help anyone who wants to improve their financial education.
Well,
So,
thank you very much. It's been lovely chatting to you.
thanks, Juanita.